SampleTank 1.1 is a universal app for iPhone, iPod Touch, and iPad. Let's begin with the Sounds window. Tap the Sounds icon at the top of the app. The Sounds window is where you choose the instruments and patterns you want to play. Tap the instrument icon on the left and you will see the category browser. SampleTank has 16 categories that organize every type of instrument. The first 12 categories are on the first page. Scroll to the left to see more categories. Tap a category to see the list of instruments and patterns it contains. The list on the left contains the instruments within the category. Each instrument is tagged with the sound pack to which it belongs. Instruments tagged as full are part of the paid version of the app. Instruments tagged as free are part of the free version of the app, also included in the paid version, of course, or are available for free when you register your app with IK Multimedia by tapping the user icon in the header. If you've purchased an iRig MIDI interface for your iOS device, register the iRig MIDI serial number as well, and you will then find 48 unique bonus instruments immediately available to you in SampleTank. Instruments tagged as pack are part of add-on sound packs that you can purchase in the in-app shop using your iTunes Apple ID and billing information. Tap the shop icon to view the available in-app purchases. There are 23 sound packs available. These cover not only each instrument category, but also some specialized subsets of each instrument category. For example, for drum instruments, you can buy the acoustic drum sound pack, 2 electronic drum sound packs, or the R&B drum sound pack. For guitar instruments, you can buy the electric guitar sound pack or the acoustic guitar sound pack. There's also the Tron sound pack, containing samples of the classic tape-based Mellotron keyboard that add these instruments to the strings, woodwinds, and vocal categories. There's also an All Sound Packs item in the shop that allows you to purchase all of the instrument sound packs at a greatly discounted price from buying them individually. You can audition all of the instruments, regardless of whether you've purchased them, using the patterns in the right column of the Sounds page. Select an instrument from the left column, then tap a pattern in the right column to hear that instrument played by any of the many patterns within the category. The pattern's background will highlight red when playing and gray when stopped. This is a great way to check out the various sound packs before you buy them. You can play the loaded instruments from the internal keyboard. The keyboard slides to show you the range you want to use. Once you've decided the range of the keyboard you want to use, you can tap the lock button on the right side of the app to prevent the keyboard from sliding. Above the keyboard is the edit strip. The edit strip provides controls to modify the sound of the currently loaded instrument. Slide the edit strip to the left to reveal more controls. The available edit parameters will vary depending on what's loaded, as the effects have been custom programmed for each instrument. At the end of the edit strip is the Export button. Tap this to export a complete loop of the currently playing patterns as a stereo AAC file for use in another app such as Amplitude or Vocal Live, or in a computer digital audio workstation such as Logic or Pro Tools. Now go to the left side of the Sounds window and tap Parts. Here you see the 4 parts of SampleTank: A, B, C, and D. SampleTank is a 4-part multi-timbral sound module. This means that SampleTank can play 4 different instruments simultaneously. Each part holds an instrument and a pattern, as well as a MIDI recording track when a recording is loaded. Tap the different parts to see the instrument and pattern loaded into each one. As we illustrated earlier, you can tap the instrument icon in the upper left to change the parts category and load an instrument and pattern from a different category. Tap Parts to return to the Parts browser. Each part in SampleTank is assigned to a MIDI channel for determining how the app will respond to incoming MIDI data from an external controller such as a keyboard or drum pads. Simply tap the channel to change it. You can also set SampleTank to only play certain parts via external MIDI. Perhaps you want to quickly switch between 4 loaded instruments during a live performance, or you want to have some parts play only the internal patterns or MIDI recordings you have made while you play along live using other SampleTank parts. Just tap the part you want to respond to external MIDI and it will highlight red. Parts that are not highlighted will not respond to external MIDI data and will only respond to the built-in app keyboards, the internal patterns, or your own SampleTank MIDI recordings. If you want to create a layer or split, use multi-touch to highlight more than one part simultaneously. To layer 2 or more instruments with an external MIDI keyboard, put them on the same MIDI channel and then highlight the parts using multi-touch. To create a split keyboard with an external MIDI controller, put the parts on different MIDI channels and highlight the parts you want to use. Then set your external keyboard to send on those MIDI channels from different ranges of the keyboard. The settings for the 4 parts of SampleTank can all be stored as a preset. Tap the Preset button to open the preset browser. There are 5 pages of presets. The first page contains the factory presets, and the numbers have an F following them to mark them as factory presets. Note that you cannot overwrite the factory presets. Slide to the left to find user presets 1 through 96. To store the current settings for all 4 parts, press and hold the user preset in which you want to store the settings. You can also store any edits you have made to the current preset by tapping the plus button at the right of the edit strip.